Hello and welcome back to part 10. This one here is a little different. Like I said, I never know how it's going to go until I do it. But this is how this one came out. Well, this is different, I said as I found myself standing somewhere in the park. I began to look around. It was the kind of park you'd see in a movie on a bright sunny day. There were a few joggers, a couple sitting in the grass on a white and red checkered blanket having a picnic, a few people playing frisbee. There was a couple out in the lake in a rowboat, an old man sitting on a park bench staring at me, a lady sitting back against a tree trunk reading a book. I turned my attention back to the old man. He gave me a slight motion with his head to come over and join him. Oh, great. I guess we're going to be studying people at the park now. I walked down the sidewalk that weaved through the park and headed towards him. When I reached the bench, he smiled and said, "Have a seat. Join me." His smile seemed genuine, and there was comfort in his voice, soothing. There was color in his eyes, too, pale green. What, or whoever he was, I knew he wasn't a demon. No, I'm not. But he could read minds, obviously. I took the seat next to him, and he turned his attention to the lake in front of us to watch the ducks swimming across close to the shore. "You really know how to get yourself in a mess, don't you?" "Excuse me?" He laughed. "You were supposed to learn from them, not make them so angry they threaten your life." "So, what are you?" I asked. "Are you a..." He nodded before I could finish the question. "Yes, a friend." He turned his attention back to ducks and added, "Luckily we were there to take care of her. She would have clawed right into you." I can still remember the screams and anger radiating from her. Why did she get so angry about the difficult questions? Because she wasn't allowed to answer certain ones. I believe she was told to simply fill you out and get you to follow without question. The same thing with the other one you were with before. I suddenly remembered how many times one of them would say, "Come, follow, this way," and I would without questioning. Until last night, of course. Was she being watched or something? Oh yes, they keep a heavy eye on their little minions. They keep a heavy eye on everyone and everything the same we do. But you can't trust them. Remember this. They know your true intentions. You want to find out how they cause so much destruction in the world so easily. And not only that, you want to find a way to let others know. How to help make it stop maybe. Is this not true? I nodded and watched the family ride by on their bikes, laughing, enjoying the day. If there was just a way to get people to open their eyes and see they are letting hate control them, letting their minds be poisoned, as she called it, I turned and asked him, why did they agree to let me follow along and learn from them if they weren't going to give me the truth on everything? Because your eyes are open, he said. On top of that, they are confident nothing you ever write or say will make a difference in the minds of their sheep. They even have most people believing that being a sheep and following without question is a good thing. Think about it. They've been at this for thousands of years. They are masters at manipulation. He shrugged. And maybe they see you as a challenge, too, since you are no longer a sheep under their control. They want to try to figure out how you broke out so easily from societal and religious control. They see you as something different to play with. I imagine it gets rather boring controlling the entire world, wouldn't you agree? I thought about his response for a moment, and then I asked, if they are so confident nothing I can say will open the eyes of others, then why wouldn't they not allow those demons I was following to answer the difficult questions? It simply wasn't their job, like I said. They were filling you out, seeing if they can somehow get you curious to their powers enough to maybe start becoming obsessed by them and want them for yourself and quit working on your original goal. He leaned a little closer. I admit it. You were enjoying going through the walls and the doors and listening to people without knowing you were there, weren't you? I smiled a little embarrassed. Yes, I guess that was kind of fun. He turned his attention back to the lake, staring off into the distance. When you get resistance, I'll try to be there for you to answer them. They will be returning to your dreams tomorrow night with a new strategy, so take it in strides. He let out a sigh. Some of your questions might be hard to understand too, especially the answers to them. and it will take time for you to figure them out. But basically, let's start with the NPCs. A non-player character is what they are called. You find them in video games. And they give you the same response every time you approach them because it is what they were programmed to do. You can go into a store, for example, in a game, and the character behind the counter will say, "Hello, is there anything I can get you?" And then you can leave the store and go right back in, and again, the character will say, "Hello, is there anything I can get you?" You can do this 100 times and get the exact same line over and over. They do this to people, too. Fake news, for example, is the newest one. Anything that they might not agree with or make them think about something in a different light or in a different way is now fake news. It's an NPC response. The president has lowered the unemployment rate all by himself. Half the people who hear this will agree, and the other half will say, fake news. But say the president didn't have anything to do with it because it had steadily been going down over the past 10 years, then all those who agree with the other statement will now say, fake news. It's what they have been programmed to do. Don't look it up for yourself. Don't research it. If you don't believe it, simply give an NPC response. Fake news. That's just one example of 1,000 I could give you. Basically, people are being programmed to respond like robots and not actually think about what is being said to them. He turned to me. Energy is very real as well. Take children, for example. You take a very calm child into a place where there are a couple of hyper children, and the calm child will feed off their energy to the point where they are also hyper. You take a depressed person to a party, and they begin telling everyone why they are depressed, and they bring down everyone they talk to. It's the same with fear, anger, envy, and anxiety. Except for the darkness, it gives them an energy they can store and use against others. They can use it later. Think of energy like pennies in a bucket. It might take 2 buckets of pennies to get a man so mad at his ex that he drives his car to the front door of their house. They've been collecting energy all week from all the negative people they control, or pennies, and by the time the weekend arrives, they have enough pennies to go on the attack. I suddenly understood. And that's how bigger things happen. Now, that woman and her kids are fear, and they have worry, and so might her parents and the neighbors. So because of that one man's action, they have many more people giving them energy, and they fill up more buckets, and they get enough energy they can maybe talk a person into buying a gun and possibly committing murder. Is that what you mean? It keeps leading to bigger and bigger things. Now you're getting it. He glanced up at the sun and said, "And I believe I will leave you with that information for now and let you wrap your head around it." He looked at me and said, "Too much at once and your mind can't process. Process those answers and we'll talk more later. But for now though, use the knowledge to better understand what they are going to be showing you. Put it to good use." I said, "What if I need you again? What's your name? How do I call you?" The park began to darken as he stood, and he turned and walked away, saying, "Don't worry. I'll know when you need me. I'll find you. Don't worry." And with that, I woke up in my room, but this time with a better understanding and a new determination. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for part 11. Good night.